Welcome, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Elaine, invocation, please.
This is called Within My Power. I am not a very important person, as importance is commonly rated. I do not have great wealth, control a big business, or occupy a position of great honor or authority. Yet I may someday mold destiny, for it is within my power to become the most important person in the world in the life of a child. Every child is a potential atom bomb in human history. All about me are children. They are the makers of history, the builders of tomorrow. If I can have some part of guiding them on the road to noble character and constructive citizenship, I may prove to be the most important person in their lives, the most important person in my community. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car I drove. But the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child, by Forrest Whitcraft.
Welcome back to Thorny Lee. January was a little bit of a crazy month, but it happens every year. Every January, Thorny Lee closes down for a few weeks, and off we go other places. So we're here for sure until next January anyway. Let me start, as always, by thanking Betty, Elaine, Tom, who else do we have? Tim, and Bill. Yes, how could Mr. Callahan? Yes, how could Mr. Callahan? And once again, in all seriousness, without them and what they do at these meetings, it just wouldn't be a very well-organized meeting. So a very sincere thank you for that. Any guest? No guest. Oh, Joanne.
We have our speaker today, Roy Alrad, and he's going to be talking to us about empowerment.
Okay. And we'll introduce him. Yep, thank you. Any other guests? Visiting Rotarians? No. Okay. Yes, Mark.
Visiting, always glad to be back.
Welcome. Okay, so to go over a few things, Betty's not here with community service, so we'll move on that. Let's go right into the, I think, the pancake breakfast. Mr. Callahan, you want to give us a few words of encouragement for the?
So I'm under instructions by my co-chair, Tina White.
Yep.
This list I'm going to pass out right now is a sign up for duty. You know, you don't volunteer, you just sign up. Is that what you do, Elaine?
No, if you don't sign up, your name gets on the list at a certain time.
So we're going to put this on. Yeah, I'm going to collect it, put it in, sign up with, if you can volunteer that day of the pancake breakfast. I'll pick them up afterwards, we'll keep it going. Secondly, tonight, Tina, or this week coming up, we're going to send out the notice for the sponsorship ads. Where's Tina? Okay. So this is going to be emailed to you. If you can't print it out, next week we'll give you a copy of it. we're asking every Rotarian, it's gonna go in the minutes, who's taking the minutes? To sell 3 ads, $50 a piece, 3 ads, not hard work. Okay? Please, I'm asking you.
Yep.
Support this. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's our major event of the year. So all the rookies, you guys that are newer to the club, like to have you help us. We need the help.
Do I get a prize for being the first one to turn in my...
You do get a prize.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna get you a cup of coffee. I'm gonna buy you a cup of coffee. Okay? Next week we'll have prizes. Dunkin' Donuts card will get you a cup of coffee. Lastly but not least. Yeah, membership meeting at the Cape Cod Cafe next Friday. I'm buying lunch. You're all welcome. We're gonna do some membership and talk a little pancake. What's the third thing about the pancake? Table sponsor. Oh, your tickets. When are they going? We will have the tickets here. We're asking every member to take 10 tickets, which is $50. If you can't use them, we're going to donate them to the Y, Boys and Girls Club. That lady that's over here, she has a program over in, maybe she was our speaker here.
Council on Aging?
You do Council on Aging, yep. So we have 4 or 5 places to donate tickets. So I'm all done, okay? Any questions?
Yes, when is the pancake breakfast, Bill, and where?
April 13th, right?
Saturday the 13th, 8 to 11, Greek Church.
Greek Church, same as last year.
All the checks go to Tina, nobody else. Give all your money to Tina or to me. I'll give it to Tina.
So next meeting, Billy, is here or at George's?
No, the weekly meeting will be here Thursday, and there'll be another meeting down at Cape Cod Cafe on Friday. Make your checks payable to Rotary CD Fund. Thank you, Richard.
No, thank you, Bill. And just to add to that, you can't stress how important this particular fundraiser, our only fundraiser is. And keep in mind, the more we get, the more we can give out to the community. And there's certainly many, many places it can and should go. So we do ask, and quite frankly, every Thursday, I'm sure there'll be some sort of mention or a little bit of something about it, because we want to see it a big success. Real quickly, I want to talk about speakers. And let me just say real quickly is, some years ago, as members, we were all assigned at different periods of time to bring in speakers, to get speakers. I ask that if everyone here today can reach out and get at least a speaker, and I don't see why we can't. Looking around this room, we're all involved in many things. We go many places. To get one card from one person is not a problem. So we're going to ask that because, you hear you want speakers, you want good speakers, okay? We're with you. So join in, reach out, get those cards, give them to myself, connect with Sese, and we'll get those speakers in, okay? We are going to be doing those 5-minute bios, by the way, and we do have a couple people on deck for next week, so it's something that we're going to bring back and use periodically as fill-ins, so keep that in mind. I'm sorry, Chris?
So on that same topic, we are going to be doing vocational 5-minute talks. So for those of you who would like to talk about your business and where you're located and what you do and don't have to pay a fine, this is an opportunity that Rotarians are allowed each year. So we'd like to, we've done this a couple times over the years. I have some sample, models of what you should cover in attendance that you have. And I can send that around to Richard and Rukina to get it out to everyone. So if you're interested in giving a little talk about your profession or your particular business, let me know and we'll get you into the circuit. Okay.
Thank you, Chris. And on the speakers here, February 7th, we have Brian Shackman from Channel 6 coming in. Brian was with us last year, maybe 2 years ago, when we were over at Freddie Fontaine's place. So he'll be here the 7th, and we're asking for a full house. So come one, come all. Please keep that in mind, February 7th. And it'll be in emails and, of course, in your newsletter as well. Elaine?
Thank you, President. That would be a great opportunity for you to bring a guest that day, because Rotary needs to grow, and you need to grow Rotary. And what better way than to bring somebody when we have an excellent speaker? Thank you.
Thanks, Elaine. Real quickly, I just want to remind everybody, next board meeting is February 5th, I believe, Tuesday night at Tudo Beni. And once again, you put out there, anyone can go, and please, it's your opportunity to hear, to talk, opinions and all that. So please do your best to show up.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I'm very pleased to introduce my friend and speaking colleague, Royale L. Radin. He is a transformational speaker who has embarked on a journey to inspire, motivate, and transform the masses using his life experiences. He quotes, "No man or woman has ever become great without making great mistakes." And it is through his philosophy that he continues to help other people change their lives. He has also been the keynote speaker for events of well-known organizations across the East Coast, such as the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, Bridgewater State University, Harvard University, Rockland Trust Bank, and many, many more. He recently opened a community center in Stoughton, Mass. Called the RTI Empowerment Center. Please welcome Royale L. Radin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be here. I'd like to do a quick moment of silence for a good friend of mine, Carl Landon, who passed away this week. Thank you. I'm excited to be here with everyone here. Thank you, Joanne, for inviting me here. Say thank you for taking me on the journey on how things would go while being here. And also, I'd like to give a huge thank you to the Rotary Club and the Brockton Rotary Club. And as I was looking, I believe the mission is to bring positive change to the communities, right? And I believe that we share some of the same mission. Now, I ask everybody, before I start, to take a deep breath with me. Real quick. One more time. Doesn't that feel good? Right? Now, I ask everyone to look at the person to your left and to your right, and I want you to tell them that change is possible. Change is possible. They say that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. How many of you believe that? Oh, because all say so. Right, so you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? I agree with that. How many of you in here have made poor choices? Put your hand up. Life for me, as I knew it, was over. I was facing 15 years for trafficking cocaine, possession of a firearm without an FID card, driving with a revoked license while being a habitual traffic offender. All after previously beating a firearm charge and out on a $30,000 bail. I said to myself, boy, let me see you get out of this one. See, up until that moment, I escaped any hardship I was ever presented with by taking shortcuts. I mean, through my experience and observation, that's what I believed in. That's what worked for me. See, Sonny from Bronx Tale said that the working man is a sucker. How many of you seen Bronx Tale in here? I believed in Sonny. I believed in John Gotti. I believed in the drug dealers and gangsters that I grew up around. I mean, in my neighborhood, the honest people didn't get any respect and were poor. And the not so honest people seemed to get all the respect. They seemed successful. I mean, look at my mom. We were poor. My dad wasn't around to give me a good example. She was struggling, working at 2 factories to feed me and keep the lights on. I was gonna change that. So I grew up wanting to be a gangster and a drug dealer. I mean, don't get me wrong, growing up, I was great at arts. I was talented in art, boxing, track and field. But whenever I was met with a challenge in art, I quit. And no one held me accountable. Whenever I was met with a challenge in boxing, I quit. And no one held me accountable. Whenever I was met with a challenge in track and field, I quit. And no one held me accountable. But you see, the streets, oh man, the streets showed me accountability. See, the guys used to pull up in nice cars, wearing thick chains, bracelets, with large wads of cash, pulsating out their pockets. They used to send me to the corner store for them and let me keep the change. They used to let me roll the dice for them and let me keep the change. They used to have me pick crack vials from behind the bushes for them and let me keep the change. They even hid large plastic bags of coke inside my boxing gloves and let me keep the change. So I grew up wanting to be like them. And I became them. See, finally, oh man, things were beautiful. I was able to take care of my mom, take care of my family, travel, drive nice cars, wear nice clothes, walk around with large wads of cash pulsating out my pocket. But some things were never right. One, my mother was never happy. She never wanted to take my money because she didn't understand where the money was coming from. So I used to say, hey, Mom, you know, I'm a car dealer. I sell cars. But my mom, she wasn't stupid. She knew that car dealers didn't walk around with 3 or 4 cell phones and large wads of cash pulsating out their pocket. 2, I became a cold young man. No empathy. I was cold to everyone, including to people who dealt with my money. 3, I was helping other people destroy themselves. Okay, well, it's not me giving it to them. I'm giving it to other people to give it to them. If I don't give it to them, they're going to take drugs anyway. But you see, in life, you are either a part of the problem or a part of the solution. And clearly, I was a part of the problem. 4, I was always paranoid. I always felt like the police was coming to get me. And they did. All rise. Court is now in session. You may now be seated. Floor man, do you have the verdict? Your Honor, yes, I do. On the charges of possession of a firearm without an FID card, how do you find the defendant? Not guilty. For the manufacturing, trafficking, and distribution of cocaine in Chapter 94C, how do you find the defendant? Not guilty. For the possession with the intent to distribute a Class B substance, how do you find the defendant? Guilty. For driving with a revoked license while being a habitual traffic offender, how do you find the defendant? Guilty. Mr. Larden, you are hereby sentenced to 2.5 years in the House of Corrections, 30 months, 913 days to not exceed 3 years. Good luck. The judge told me good luck Could you imagine that? Good luck. I was devastated. But you see, I lost more as that person than I ever was. But I won a battle that I believe I was supposed to lose. I was supposed to do those 15 years. But I believe that my higher power had a different plan for me. But in order for me to activate that plan, I had to dig deep within myself to pull out my true self. And when I found my true self, I felt free. I felt happy. I felt a burning desire to bring about change. See, ladies and gentlemen, prison does not change an individual. Prison exposes an individual to their true self. But if that individual is more infatuated with their false self than their true self, that individual will remain the same. So I knew I had to change, or else I'd be back in the same predicament again. There's a saying that goes, it's insane to keep doing the same things and
Expect different results.
so I had to change my patterns. See, let me tell you something. Change is not a matter of ability, right? Because we all possess the ability to change. Change is a matter of motivation. Change is a matter of being sick and tired of what your life is like. Change is a matter of getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. Change is a matter of environment, and change is a matter of habit. But in order for me to change my life around, I had to incorporate a new set of disciplines into my life. I had to take full responsibility for the things that were happening in my life. See, if we blame other people for the things that happen to us, right, that means it's their fault. They have to change while we remain the same. But if we take full responsibility for the things that happen to us in our life, we get to change, and everything around us will change. So in order for me to change, I had to incorporate a checklist into my life. So as I sat in Unit C1, Cell 226, I created a blueprint for what I believe my life would become once I got out. See, the thing about a checklist, right, is goals. Our goals tell us when to wake up, when to go to sleep. Our goals tell us who to say yes to, who not to say yes to, who to say yes and who to say no to. Our goals tell us where to go and where not to go. So what I did was, I created a first day out list. I created a first week out list, a first month, first year, first 3 years, first 5 years, and the first 10 years out list. And would you believe it? I have not looked back since. I followed that blueprint until now. And I'm still using the same regimen. So I'm here today to say that change is possible, but that change is a lifetime commitment. I'm here today to say that I had to hit rock bottom in order to change, but we don't have to let our youth hit rock bottom. I'm here today to say that if I could walk down the path that I walked and was able to come back from the reputation that I had, so can anyone. I'm here today to say that if I can come from the bottom, and when I say the bottom, I'm not just talking about my neighborhood. I'm talking about my mistakes, my failures, my poor choices, my self-hate, my destructive behaviors. So can anyone. I'm here today to say that my mission is to help everyone I come in contact with get one step closer to their best self. And that is the reason why I became a transformational speaker. My other mission is to help the youth avoid the pitfalls that I wasn't able to avoid. That's the reason why I opened up the RTI Empowerment Center, where the mission is to bridge the gap in communities through arts, youth empowerment, and community development. So, to close out, I'll say my favorite quote, which goes, "No man has ever become great without making great mistakes." Thank you. Thank you for having me. Right now, if anybody has any questions to ask me, I love questions. So, this beautiful lady in the middle.
How many youth do you have in your program now from Stoughton?
Well, the youth program is launched February 13th, which is on one of the flyers I have there.
Okay.
And the programs we're going to be providing is a chess club, a public speaking club, a group therapy that we named Let's Vibe. So chess club, group therapy, public speaking club, and a program called YIP, which is a youth intensive program, but you can say it's a youth boot camp.
Have you worked at all with Stoughton High School, the public school system?
Yes, actually, I met with the guidance counselors a few weeks ago, and we're going to be collaborating. And I'm speaking over there to a program on the 30th in order to bring more awareness to the program. Yes.
Royale, it's good to see you again. Really inspirational. It was a pleasure to be at your ribbon cutting a few months back. We had 300 people there and such an excitement in downtown Stoughton. You drew people from all over the region, including Boston and Brockton and everywhere.
Yes.
It's just great to see that facility and that location, energized with your leadership. Fantastic. What do you see is going to be happening there from your list that you're looking at? What's your goal?
One of my main goals, right? So I've been in Brockton for 18 years. I had a previous business in Stoughton for 4 years, and this place 2 years. And I work with a lot of youth, a lot of young adults. And one of the things I've noticed in a lot of different communities that's around, so Stoughton is like in the middle. You have Brockton, you have Randolph, you have Avon, you have Sharon, Canton, Easton. One of the things I noticed from the youth in Brockton is that most of the time they don't leave Brockton until they're adults, spending most of their life in Brockton, never leaving Brockton. And I'm a firm believer that sometimes you have to go outside of your circle, take resources and bring it back, and that's how you can grow. So my vision is to be able to have programs, events. Inside the center, there's an art gallery, there's a performing arts stage, there's a lot of different things. My goal is to be able to have people from different towns, cities, join together in one place, share resources and take it back to your community and build, right? It's good. We were all kids. It's good to say, well, I know so-and-so from this town, I know so-and-so. Let me see, I have a project I'm doing. Let me see if I could reach out to this person to help me bridge the gap. So that's the main goal, to bring all communities together in one place and take it back, take their resources back.